JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before I get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now on to the news. Police Corporal found dead at home in St. James. Authorities are investigating the death of a police corporal who was found unresponsive at her home in Brooks Close, Granville, St. James, on Wednesday morning. The deceased has been identified as 59-year-old Bibsy Foster. Foster was to retire next month. Reports indicate that Foster was discovered unresponsive at her residence and later taken to a medical facility where she was pronounced dead. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit CCU has since confirmed her passing. Investigators are awaiting the results of a post-mortem examination to determine the cause of death. 2 guns seized in separate corporate area operations. Police investigators have recovered 2 illegal guns and several rounds of ammunition in separate operations carried out in Kingston 13 and the St. Andrews Central on Wednesday, October 15. According to reports from the Denham Town Police, about 6 p.m., a police team on mobile patrol acted on intelligence and went on address on Lane Gem Road, Kingston 13. Upon entering the premises, officers observed 3 men who attempted to flee the scene. A chase ensued, and one of the men was apprehended. During a subsequent search of the area, the police discovered a Glock pistol fitted with a magazine containing 7 9mm rounds. The man was taken into custody, though his identity has not been released pending further investigation. In a separate incident, members of the St. Andrews Central Police Division seized another gun during an operation on Tavern Drive around 5:15 p.m. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police indicate that lawmen were conducting a targeted operation when they discovered a small paper bag along a perimeter wall. Upon inspection, officers found a handgun concealed inside. No arrest was made in relation to the seizure, and investigations continue into both incidents. Ex-firefighter pleads guilty to murder of mother-in-law in St. Ann. A former firefighter has pleaded guilty to the murder of his mother-in-law, whose mutilated body was discovered buried in a secluded area of Claremont, St. Ann, earlier this year. The accused, 41-year-old Dwayne Simpson, a former member of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, appeared before High Court Justice Simone Wolf-Rees in the St. Ann Circuit Court, where he entered a guilty plea to the capital charge. Simpson was charged with the murder of 63-year-old Maxine Parkinson, who went missing on the night of Monday, January 8, 2024. When she failed to return home, relatives filed a missing person report, prompting an investigation by the police. 2 days later, Simpson was taken into custody. During questioning, he led investigators to a remote area in Nine Palm near Harmony Vale, where Parkinson's body was discovered buried with multiple chop wounds. Following the grisly discovery, Simpson was formally charged with murder. He is scheduled to be sentenced next week. JTA President demands fair compensation for teachers. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Mark Maliver, is urging the government to reconsider its stance on the proposed wage increase for educators, insisting that teachers deserve better compensation for their service. The call comes after Finance Minister Favour Williams announced that the government is unable to offer more than a 2% increase under the current wage proposal. However, the JTA has firmly rejected the offer, declaring that the proposed 2% increase for the first year of the 2025 to 2027 contract period is unacceptable. Speaking in an interview on Wednesday, Maliver confirmed that the association is preparing a formal response to the government's latest proposal.
Prior to this, we were doing remarkably well in terms of the economic boom and everything is happening in the country. But here we now are that the government is telling us to hold strain. We held strain for 4 years, Dion, when we endured, when we signed up for a wage freeze when the country was tinkering on the edge of economic doom. Fast forward to now, we are then being called upon to hold strain. Here's another interesting fact. Our politicians are amongst the highest paid in the Caribbean. Our teachers are the lowest paid in the Caribbean. But notwithstanding that, our teachers are high-performing teachers. It's not by accident that America, that UK, that Canada and other first world countries come to Jamaica and recruit our teachers. And I'll advance the argument that in those countries, whenever there's a cluster of teachers and there's an award ceremony, it is our teachers, Jamaican teachers, that are dominating those awards in terms of receiving those awards. That speaks volumes about our teachers. In addition to that, the data coming out of the Ministry of Education has pointed to the fact that over 90% of our teachers are meeting expectations or exceeding expectations in terms of exemplary, satisfactory, strong, or exemplary. So we have done remarkably well.
In today's feature, we're looking at the transformation of the western hub of Jamaica.
Anchored by Jamaica's longest bridge, 30 meters high and 180 meters long, the new highway will open doors for business, housing, and faster commutes. With benefits for tourism, BPO, and daily life, this game-changing project promises a lasting impact for Montego Bay and beyond.
The Montego Bay Perimeter Road project is a $274 million project in which the government of Jamaica is the employer, Ed Rock is the engineer, and China Harbour Engineering Company Limited is the contractor.
Meanwhile, SJE Consultants manages the day-to-day project implementation and oversight.
The project involves a number of sub-projects, including the Montego Bay Bypass, the Long Hill Bypass, and upgrades to Barnett Street and West Green Avenue. The project is on track to be completed in May 2026. China Harbour Engineering Company Limited is the main contractor on this project. During the project, the contractor would procure some materials from local suppliers, including steel and aggregate. The Barnett Street and West Green Avenue upgrades are to be subcontracted by check to local contractors.
The Land Acquisition Act guides the purchase of properties to build the highway.
If the property is a commercial property or a residential property, then the valuations are done in accordance with what obtained for businesses and what obtained for residences. And NROC has a resettlement policy which sets out how we go about to compensate people using fair value measures so that when we are through, persons are to be better off than before. For businesses, the same principle follows with valuations, but with a business, you have to provide additional compensation for re-establishment of business. We did an environmental impact assessment as part of the planning process, and that captures most of the underground information, both in terms of the biological information and social information. So we look at flora, fauna, plants, animals. We look at the rivers and streams, and then we look at the communities that are within close proximity to the highway. And that gives us the baseline information as to what are likely to impact people. And then we would build that into our plan and design so that we minimize disruptions and inconvenience.
JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.